LFFL primetime, everything you need to know in just 5 minutes. What you need to know tonight? We have a big time football game. Greg's 49ers taking on the Vikings, what I think should be an absolute butt kicking. But these two teams are going at it, and because there's so many 49ers and Vikings that are fantasy important, especially in our league, there's a lot to be decided. So let's check it out. In the original league, we have Miles, a 26-point lead over Matt, who has a Brock Purdy. This is certainly an attainable game for Matt. Miles, currently the favorite on Fantrax to go ahead and win, but obviously Matt can get certainly 26 is not outrageous for a quarterback. Phil, 135 with Brandon Ayuk, Andy 125 with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. You'll hear me say this multiple times in the show. Christian McCaffrey's health is really the issue here. You would like Andy to win this game if McCaffrey is fully healthy in place. Bill, a 20-point lead over Todd. Both have Viking receivers. Bill has KJ Osborne. Todd has Jordan Addison. Greg, a 148-104 lead over Eric, who just has TJ Hawkinson left. Josh has already beaten me, ending my glorious run of one straight win. LFFL 2, Sean, a 45-31 lead over Phil. We've got an interesting phenomenon here. Sean has George Kittle. Phil has Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy throws multiple touchdowns to not George Kittle, this game can become really interesting really, really quickly. Eric, 60-59 over Miles. Eric has Jordan Addison. Miles has Christian McCaffrey again. If McCaffrey's healthy, you would like Miles to draw out on that game. However, stranger things have happened, especially with an unhealthy Christian McCaffrey. Bill is up 34-18. I'm sorry, the Merrill score is not in there. Bill does have the Niners defense. The Merrills are running out Jordan Mason in the Vikings defense. You like Bill to advance in that one. And then finally, I have a solid lead over Todd, who does have Kirk Cousins. You'll like me to win that game. Greg has already beaten Andy, ending Andy's unbeaten run. We will officially not have an unbeaten team in the LFFL 2 this year. LFFL 3, all the games are technically still to be decided. Some of them are more over than others, however. This one is not. Eric, an 11-point lead over Greg, who does have Brock Purdy. That game very likely to change hands if things go right for Greg and the Niners. Phil, tied with Matt Brennan at 72-72. Brandon Ayuk left for Matt Brennan. Normally, you might say, well, Matt Brennan's going to win that game. I would venture to say in this very league about 10 years ago, I was tied 92-92 one day and had Jay Cutler. My opponent had nobody. Guess who won that game? Not me. Jay Cutler throws an interception, then leaves the game with concussion, and I actually lose coming in tied with a quarterback. Nice. This game, obviously, you like Matt Brennan to win, but stranger things have happened. Miles, 86 to Andy 68. Andy does have Niners defense, so a defense touchdown, maybe a strong defense performance. Andy could get back into that one. Todd, 80 with Brandon Powell. Nate, 53 with Alexander Madison, TJ Hawkinson. Sean, an 18-point lead over Matt, who is George Kittle. Certainly would need probably touchdowns in a non-PPR league from George Kittle. And then I have a big lead over Bill, who has Jordan Addison. LFFL 4, congratulations to my good friend Eric Warner, a 115.41 points score, second showdown win of the season, sixth overall showdown run in the 3 years we've been doing this thing. Matt Brennan just touched Matt out by a point, 114 for Matt Brennan. Nate takes third place and the bronze, 110-85. Updated standings, I am leading the way at 65, but since my team was a stinker down there in ninth, Matt Brennan closes the gap, 59 points for him, 58 for Eric after his win, 56 for Greg, and 49 for Miles. LFFL 5, still to be decided. Phil, a 1-point lead over Todd. Phil has both Christian McCaffrey and Kirk Cousins. Todd just has Nick Bosa. Todd obviously would likely need Christian McCaffrey not to play to have any chance here. Greg, 191 to Eric, 175. Greg does have George Kittle and Fred Warner, whereas Eric just has Jordan Addison. Sean, only 6-point lead over Bill, but he has 3 players to Bill's 1 tonight. Sean has Brandon Ayuk, Alexander Madison, and Cameron Bynum. And Bill just has Danielle Hunter, so you like Sean to win that game. And Andy with a commanding lead over Miles, who does have 3 players still to play. So technically not over yet. I have already beaten Nate. In this league, LFFL 7, we only have 2 teams in play here tonight. Andy is your lowest finished scoring team at 136.5. However, Greg, just 4 points back at 132.7, but I'm not sure how many points Greg can actually get tonight despite having 4 players. Brock Purdy would need to have more than 33.9 points to count. Could it happen? Absolutely. Is it likely to happen? Not really. Eli Mitchell needs more than 1.4 points to count tonight. Could it happen? Absolutely, especially if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. But I don't think it's a stone cold lock either. And then his 2 receivers, Brandon Ayuk and Greg Jennings, would both need to score over 7 points to begin counting for Greg. I don't think it's a lock he passes. I think the odds are in his favor that he passes, but I don't think it's a lock at all. So this will be a fun one to watch this evening. LFFL 9. There's a chance? No, there's really not. This is the Lloyd Christmas chance right here. These 5 games I deem to be over. Every single one of these teams has players in play tonight, but I don't think the game's close enough for the scores just aren't right. Greg 1, the number 1 seed Greg 2 is going to go ahead and beat the number 16 seed Greg 1. He's got a commanding lead in that one. Number 3 seed Phil 2 is going to go ahead and beat the number 14 seed Nate 1, a commanding lead over there. I feel very good that number 12 seed Bill will be upsetting the number 5 seed Phil. He has a 100-point lead in that one. I feel very good that my team, the number 6 seed, will beat the number 11 seed Nate. In the 10-7 game, I'm thinking this is going to be an upset as well, where number 10 Matt Brennan will upset number 7 Jeremy, which leaves 3 games still in play. So let's look at these. You've got my attention right here. Miles and Todd, the 8-9 game. Miles currently a 4-point lead. Todd has Cam Akers. Cam Akers was replacing a 1.2. So essentially, if Cam Akers gets more than 5 points, Todd advances. If he gets less than 5 points, Miles advances. So that'll be fun to watch tonight. Cam Akers a tough matchup tonight. We'll see what happens. Eric also has Cam Akers this evening. The 4 seed Eric is potentially going to lose to a second Bill upset. Bill's a 12 and 13 seed. Both those teams might move on. Bill has 509 points. He has both Alexander Madison and the Niners defense. They are replacing really low numbers. Bill is going to score points tonight. The question is, will Bill score enough points tonight? Because you do think the better the Niners defense does, the worse Alexander Madison potentially does. So we'll see. He only needs about 16 plus whatever Cam Akers does. Interesting affair there. And then finally, I feel decent about this one. I do think I am the favorite to advance as the 2 seed, but look at all these guys Jeremy has still in place. So it's Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, and the Niners defense. They're replacing a total combined 6 points. So the vast majority of what they score is going to count. Whereas I have the Niners, and if they score, I've got to replace like 8 points. I don't think they're going to get there. That's a lot of points for those guys to get. But there's a reason we play the games, right? So those 3 games have my attention this evening, and they should have yours too. Please go ahead and join our showdown contest for this 49ers-Vikings game we have going on. That is in the email, and I'll be back tomorrow with a full update from the league. So good luck this evening, especially those Niners, Greg.